The man just peed in the desert. Unexpectedly found a large piece of gold. The man hesitated again and again, but still called for his companion in the distance. The companion took out the lighter and started burning the gold.
Blackening gold.
The two men immediately took shovel to dig. But I just dug for a while. They noticed something was wrong. What is this gold? It is clearly a whole golden mountain. Two people want to move it out. It can't be moved at all. They thought of using the pickup truck to pull out, but the rope was pulled and broken. The gold is still untouched. It's getting dark. In order not to become food for wild dogs, they can only light a bonfire before making plans. Then the fat man suggested, let the man rent an excavator in a nearby town. But this round trip will take at least 4 days. Men who don't know each other well are afraid of fat men taking gold alone, so he proposed to stay. Let the fat man rent the excavator. Fat man agreed. He left the man enough water and food for 4 days and a satellite phone, then turned and got on the bus excitedly.
Time I get back, we'll be rich as all hell.
After the fat man left, the man carefully buried the exposed gold. Then he built a simple tent with dead trees. But in the desert where there are hidden murders, no matter the weather is bad, or the scorpions that can be seen everywhere, will kill a man at any time. Not to mention a group of wild dogs around. Men in such a bad environment. I had a hard first night. In order to be comfortable, men began to collect materials everywhere. After climbing a hillside, he found a crashed plane. This is a perfect shelter. It can not only insulate the heat of the sun, and there are comfortable seats, but the only problem is, this is too far from gold. No way out. Man had to dismantle the parts of the. Two men are unexpectedly in the deserted desert, found a huge piece of gold. In order to own the gold, the fat man immediately drove to the city to rent an excavator, and men were left to guard the gold. Then a woman came from a distance. The man immediately and cautiously hid in the plane, but the woman came to him. Don't answer a man. The woman kindly handed the water to the man. The watchful man doesn't pay any attention to her. Men's excessive precaution makes women suspicious. He stood up and looked around. Then he began to follow the man's footsteps towards the camp. The man panicked. He stopped the woman and offered to give her the plane. But the more nervous a man is, the more curious a woman is. So the woman followed him to the camp. Soon the woman found the gold under the stone. She also has the idea of taking a share. But men will not agree. The angry woman shouted at the man. The hot heat makes the man's brain seriously dehydrated. Plus the temptation of gold destroyed the last trace of man's reason. The man picked up the shovel. The man froze. He immediately dug a hole. The man immediately got up and drove the wild dog away. Then he collected the branches around him. Men's eyes are full of tears. At this moment, it seems like my own humanity, and went with the woman's. Then the fat man called. He told the man that his car broke down on the way. It may take a day or two, but now there is not much left for men. Then a car came in the distance. This is the best time for men to ask for help. But in order not to let others share the gold, he chose to hide, gave up the last hope of survival. This moment, men's greed for gold has overcome everything, including the fear of death. But then a bigger crisis appeared. A mighty sandstorm is coming towards him. The man found hundreds of millions of gold in the desert, but then a sandstorm was coming towards him. The man quickly hid in the tent. Vulnerable tents face sandstorm. Appear vulnerable. The man was also knocked unconscious by the fallen branches. When he wakes up, he found himself covered with a thick layer of sand. He has only one problem on his mind now. That's where the gold is. The intense pain makes men crawl forward. Finally, he found gold under a pile of sand. At this time, the man finally reached the limit of endurance. In a trance, he seems to have seen the woman by himself. He can't tell whether this is reality or illusion. A sudden ringing of the telephone woke the man. It's a fat man. The man asked when he would come back, but the fat man just said again and again that he would be here soon. Then the man fell into a coma. It was almost dark when she woke up again. Men find themselves around. There are small fires one by one. Apparently, this is what the woman just did. The man called the fat man, but there was no sound at the end of the phone. The picture switches to the mountaintop not far away. A fat man is holding a telescope. Observe what happens at the foot of the mountain. Men's cries for help came from time to time on the phone. It turned out that the fat man had come back with the excavator, but he planned to monopolize gold from the beginning. In fact, men also understand what fat people think. It's too late. The fat man drove to the foot of the mountain, but when he was ready to dig gold alone, a sharp sword pierced it. With the fat man unwilling to fall to the ground, the story ends abruptly.